So it's the day after Summit Day. I believe this is day 7. We got about 9 to 10 miles to do. Woke up a little later. Last night, everybody was pretty much exhausted. We ate and went to sleep. We slept in a little later and got a later start. Started about 8:45, 9 o'clock. And we're going to do about 6 miles and then have lunch. And then we have to we have to carry our water because we're going to a dry camp. So that'll be a little extra weight that we'll have to carry to camp. So it should be 3 miles after lunch, 6 miles before lunch. I'm hiking by myself now. We're on the PCT. The rest of the trip is all on the PCT. So just varied terrain. It's very hot, dusty, and dry. And then you come into these little areas with trees. A lot of rocks. You better like rocks. Didn't sleep very well last night. Slept until around 1:30. And then unfortunately was pretty much up. We got a late start, as I said. We had breakfast, but we actually cooked breakfast. So it was oatmeal and sausage, which was good. And I started hiking around 9. So in good spirits, body's in good shape. Don't have any blisters. I had one little blister the other day. I popped it and hasn't reappeared. So I'm glad for that. Actually looking forward to finishing. I'd like to get back to see my family. Have had a lot of time to think about things. Not as much as I thought I would because I'm always with a group. This is only the second time I'm really hiking by myself. I'm absolutely loving this. This is a great trail. Slight up and down, no steps. I like that. Just thinking about a lot of things, personal and professional, and hiking too. So I'm gonna keep on going. Got about another mile and a half hopefully to cover before we stop. We'll see how that goes. Stretch, did another big climb, took a break, and now I'm walking another mile or so to our lunch spot. And just my observations, very sandy and dry up here. I guess they don't get a lot of rain. I was asking one of the guides, Chris, that runs the company, about the area, and they just had rain 2 weeks ago, like non-stop, and they had warnings and floods and everything. But normally it doesn't get a lot of rain up here. And I think that's why you don't see a lot of ground cover. And the trees are so interspersed. That's one thing I do like about it. Like, you know, up in the northeast and the East Coast, I guess, where most of my hiking has been, the forest, the trees are so close together. I guess here they're spread out more. So you have shade, but you have these views and this openness. And I really love that. And look at these trees. Look at the warping of the wood, but that's not actually warped. That's how they grow. I thought the same thing, but they told me very frequently the trees have a twist in them. Like here, you can see there's an obvious twist in the tree. And that's how they grow and look. And just so beautiful. Look at that long tree over there. That's twisted. Just like someone took it and just held it and just twisted it. And it's very common with a lot of the trees here. So there's obviously different varieties here that only exist here or along the coast or up in these mountains. So that's why I think the trees are dispersed. Obviously, that's just my personal thoughts. I'm not a scientist and I wouldn't know these things, a botanist or anything like that. But just it's an observation that you see the trees are spread out. And I'm assuming maybe there's just not enough water and everything else to support a dense forest. Okay, but you can see the trail obviously while I was rambling on there, and just beautiful views. I am walking by myself again. I was walking with some slower people. I was behind them for a while, and I decided to get past them. So, feeling good, having a good time. Really have enjoyed this. Both happy and glad that tomorrow will be the last day. Obviously, physically, I think I can go. I could probably do this for several more days, but I would like to go, speak to my family and see them. I do miss them, so that'll be something I'm really looking forward to on Sunday when I'm able to get home. It's Friday today, by the way. You'll be watching this, I don't even know when, probably weeks from now. I haven't been as good as editing and recording as I had hoped to be the last 2-3 days. Very hard to record on Whitney, those trails there. Honestly, it's kind of amazing when you're going up there, and I was okay till about 3/4 of the way up, and then I happened to look over the edge, and you see you're thousands of feet up, if not definitely hundreds, and if you fall off or you trip, and you happen to, fall down or go over the edge, you're a goner. So, but I'm really pleased everybody made it up. All 11 people made it up and back down safely with no injuries. So that is amazing, because coming down to me is even harder than going up, in the terms of there's more risk of you getting hurt. And just realizing I'm talking and making sure I'm not slowing the trail. There's no markings out here either, which is what I find amazing. You just follow the trail. But you have no idea if you're on the trail or not. I haven't seen any other hikers. We met a large group, probably about 20 or 25, that came through. And it was pretty nice. We were applauding them when they reached the top of the mountain. And then they started clapping when the rest of our group started coming up. They didn't know we were all together. It was just funny. They were thanking us for being the welcoming committee. It was very nice. Very good moment. It's nice to interact with people, So, ambassadors both for the trail and our country. They were obviously tourists and visiting from another country. So, hopefully left them with a good impression. So, the area looks it's like a devastated landscape though. So, just rock strewn all over, dead wood. But it's beautiful in its own way. And you have these grand views. Look at that mountain up ahead. You can see through the trees. So it's just, you have to earn the views, Like I say, it's hard to get to the mountaintop, but the view is spectacular. And then here, this is a remote area. You can't drive your car here. The only way in here is you're walking. I guess you could probably do horseback, but there's no other way in here. You have to hike. You earn this view physically by doing the miles. Still on the PCT. This section of the trail for us. The rest of the day, trail today and tomorrow on our way out is all on the PCT. You see, it's another one of those logs. You can see the twist in it. So, and I'll keep on walking. Still making my way down to lunch. One thing I did want to comment, it was pretty amazing today. Obviously, we slept in a little later and we had a good breakfast. I think that put everyone in better spirits than we were yesterday at the end of the day. But I actually think everyone was in really good spirits, because yesterday we had a test basically. And by climbing Mount Whitney and being able to finish that, everybody feels, I think, better and successful. And that was, I think, the part that most people, including myself, were worried about. There was a point where I'm climbing up there and I'm looking at the mountain and I was worried about it. And I'm thinking, I don't know if I can do this. That looks really high. It was hard, physically hard. But you just take one step in front of the other and you keep going. And eventually you make it there. So I think a lot of the other people in the group were feeling the same way. Relief, exhilaration, rush of endorphins, and everything on completing it. And today, I think everyone is in good spirits. So today we have It's not an easy day, but it's not a hard day either, I think. 10-mile walk. We just had 2 steep uphills of 500 feet or so, but it's predominantly down. I believe we're losing about 1,600 feet of elevation total. I'm not entirely sure, but we are going down. So predominantly down. So it does make it easier. You have to be careful as well because it's easy to turn an ankle or fall, but it's not as physically demanding, strength-wise or, cardio-wise. So, just still climbing down. And here's my view. Isn't that just beautiful out there? And you can see the trail just going straight down this mountain. It's pretty steep. so, but I know the camera doesn't show it as accurately. So this is what PCT looks like here. Very dry, dusty, and gravelly. And there's a sign saying fires prohibited. That means I'm at 10,000 feet. Above 10,000 feet, you're not allowed to have a fire, and below 6,000 due to fire danger. So between 6,000 and 10,000, there's enough trees growing that there's ample firewood. You don't have to cut trees or damage them to get firewood, and there's more water obviously. So I guess the fire risk is less, and they're allowed obviously in fire rings or approved locations at campsites. So at least I know what altitude I'm at. My altimeter is actually off by only 59 feet right now. I was standing there, so I was pretty impressed with that. So here we are. It's our last campsite. This is my tent set up on High Desert Camp. It's approximately 10,900 feet up or so. It's all rocky, beautiful views. I'm going to pan across. You can see one of the other participants setting up the thing. Here's our view. It's an open camp. We're going to have a great view of the sky. I hope some of these clouds. Yesterday and today were the first day we've seen clouds really. The other days it was totally clear and blue. And for today's stats, we did 11.10 miles in 8 hours and 32 minutes. And we climbed 2,224 feet up in elevation to get here. So, got a couple of more people coming into the camp. This is a long hike. It was basically uphill the last 2 miles with a 1,600 foot ascent. So we're kind of strung out. Came in with the first group, the 4 of us. It was the usual suspects. KDB. So here I am back at the High Desert Camp. It's 5:50. We got in probably about 20 minutes ago, unloaded some of our stuff, and I set up my tent already. It was a really hard day, very physical. But you know what? It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And obviously each day we get stronger and stronger. I've had some issues with the trip, obviously with the altitude breathing. At times I feel out of breath. That's also the exertion. I'm just exploring a little bit here. But yeah, other than that, it's been a great trip. I absolutely love this area here. It's rough and rugged, but the trees are just beautiful. They're a little short here because we're so high up, but look at the twist in them and the way they look. Look at that old weathered wood. It is magnificent to me. I'm going to turn you around. Besides, you don't want to see me anyway. Look at this tree, how it's twisted and warped and weathered. Absolutely beautiful. So today was a hard physical day. We did 8.5 hours. We did stop for lunch, probably too long in my opinion. I would have liked to have moved a little bit more, but it was a nice rest before the last 3-mile push to camp. These are some of the paths and trails here. This is where the trail continues. And this is the PCT that we're on. And this is a dry camp. So while it's a lovely location, look at another one of these trees. That's just beautiful. While it's a nice location, because there's no water, you don't generally have a lot of people probably coming here because you have to portage all your water up here. which is what we did. Everybody was loaded full water. We had several people carrying an extra 3 liters in their backpacks, and some people were just carrying 2 jugs, 2-gallon jugs. So we have enough water now, hopefully, for not only dinner tonight, but also breakfast in the morning, as well as water to hike out. We have a hike in the morning of about 10 or 11 miles. We're going to get up really early, probably 4 or 5 o'clock, and start hiking and get to the gap. And it's also a climb up, of course. I think we have a little climb up at the end or something like that. I'm not sure. It's not very, very severe. It's probably like 250 or 500 feet. But look at the striations and the twists of this. It's absolutely, it's just amazing. And this is how they naturally grow. They're not warped by, I always think up north when I saw a tree, it would be weathered, it would be in a windy location, and it grew that way because of the environment. But this is actually how they actually grow. And it is magnificent. So that's going to be it for today, or at least for now. I may record something later. But I'm going to take you back over and give you another view of those mountains. Just wanted to give you another view of the mountains here at High Desert Camp. And honestly, he told me the names of the mountains and I can't remember them all. So I'll have to look them up. I'll take a picture and hopefully I'll be able to find them later. But look at that, it's beautiful with the sunlight on the end. This light's going down for the day. I'm gonna pan across slowly. I'm gonna do it very slowly, I hope, because I don't want to get you dizzy. I can't stand that in my videos. I hate it when I see it. Look at this large clearing I'm in. I'm looking forward to tonight, even though we have an early morning. I'm hoping to come out and maybe catch some sky pictures or some stars and be able to see some stuff. There's the sun going down behind the clouds. We got about an hour, maybe an hour and a half left until some of the other participants. And there's my tent there. You can see the blue tent. That's my tent. Another person also has a Z-Pack tent. Actually, 2 people have a Z-Pack tent. That's in blue. Only one of them have it in blue. The other person has a different color. That's the mountains again. Just absolutely gorgeous. This has been a great trip.